What would be the best way to go about selling your vintage card? All go to PSA.
What are you doing with this last year of the prisms? You know, once they lose the license, I have a feeling that these items are going to be incredibly collectible. Just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that, man, and just say, hey, I really appreciate the content. I love listening.
I pulled a Daniels Kaboom.
Yep.
Got it graded, got a 10 on it.
Nice.
And I'm stoked about it, but at the same time, what I wanted to ask you is, do you think it's a good time to sell it now, or do you think I should wait a little bit?
I was pretty confident. I thought it could get a 9. I sent it in to PSA. Got it back. They graded it as an 8.
Yeah,
So-
they're hard with that stuff. You said it's a Topps Chrome Gold X-Fractor, Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
We're live for episode number 53 of the Eric Michaels Show, and welcome if you're new. This is a podcast or a training, you could call it, that I do, where I talk about life, sports cards, I answer people's questions. If you look in the bottom left there, we drop a phone number. You could call in. I'm mic'd up. I have a conversation with you guys, and honestly, it's a lot of fun, and I do this to display value, give back, and to be honest with you guys, I sell a coaching program that teaches people how to make money with sports cards, and I use this content to introduce people to the idea of making money with sports cards, because sports cards changed my life. It allowed me to never get a corporate job, been able to work for myself, and I'm all about spreading that stuff as much as humanly possible because it changed my life, and it's what I'm good at, and I believe I've been put on this earth to help people make a side income on top of their job. And right now, while I'm speaking, we're inching closer to the NFL draft, which is fascinating. The NFL draft is fascinating because you don't know what's going to happen. Number one should be Cam Ward, should be. And then number two, you just don't know who's going to be taken. Like, it could be Abdul Carter. It could be, Shador Sanders, who I think is probably going to be taken number 2. But you really don't know. And why I'm mentioning this stuff, it's interesting because I'm pulling up a mock draft here just to drive home a point here. I just want to make sure. Yeah. So it really starts with the Browns at number 2. So what are they going to do? Right. You have Deshaun Watson. He's there. He kind of stinks. Do they take Shador Sanders? Do they trade Travis Hunter? And then the Giants, they'll probably take Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, whoever's left. But then where it really gets interesting is with the Patriots, in the world of sports cards, what happens is these quarterbacks in the offseason, their values go up based on hype and momentum and excitement. And the number one indicator of hype or excitement or whatever you want to call it is a player, like a quarterback getting a new player. So if Travis Hunter were to go to the Patriots, you'd probably see Drake Maye stuff, maybe not right away, but over time really pop up. Last year, Kyler Murray stuff popped up a lot when Marvin Harrison Jr. was drafted to them. So it'll be super interesting. I think it'll probably go Travis Hunter number 2, and then Shador Sanders to the Giants at number 3. And that would be awesome for sports cards because next year when these cards come out, Shador Sanders in New York would be great, better than him being in Cleveland. And next year, I believe is it October or December or January next year? But so Panini loses the license to football and basketball. So what that means is, so this card, for example, for you guys, this is a Prism card. And Prism is a product that's made by Panini. Panini has had the license for football since like 2015, I think. 2016 maybe, something like that. And they had the rights to make these football cards. And anyone can make a football card, but in order to put the team's logo on there and like the logo on the helmet and all that stuff and the NFL logo, you need the license. And whatever company has the license to these cards, people consider those cards the true rookie cards. So Fanatics bought the rights to that license, what was it, a year ago or something? And Fanatics then bought Topps. So Topps used to make, this is actually interesting. So Topps used to make the football cards. Then Panini got the license from them. So if you ever look here, and you guys, a lot of you guys have probably not been in sports cards that long, but if you look, like back in my day when I got into sports cards in 2015, like Derek Carr was like the shit. He was like the man. And you could see his good cards were made by Topps Chrome. So Topps Chrome was like the football product. So you know how right now like Prism is like the football product? That's what Topps Chrome was before Panini took over. And another good example of this, like back in my day, like I remember these cards used to go crazy. Like Todd Gurley Topps Chrome. Like Todd Gurley was the man. Like these cards I made so much money on, but not anymore, obviously. But you'll see, obviously, the cards probably won't look like this, but Topps Chrome is going to come back, and that'll be kind of equivalent to Prism. So they'll probably have autographs and non-autographs. So it'll be super interesting to see what happens. And I don't know what they're going to do for higher end cards, because right now, if you look, right, if you just take a random card, like you have Prism, and then you have something called National Treasures. These are like basically the two best types of cards. And National Treasures is like a card like this, a Brock Purdy. This is like the premium, expensive rookie card. I don't know what Fanatics will do, if they'll make a new product. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with this stuff. But nonetheless, what I was saying before is right now, football is very, very good buy. So, nonetheless, let's go buy some cards before I start answering some questions, because I have noticed that you guys like when I go on here and buy cards. So right now, as I'm speaking, I mean, buying, so there's two things I do, right? I buy cards that are not graded, and I buy cards that are graded. So guys that are graded, some guys that I'm looking to buy, like Brock Purdy is a good example, and just to show you guys why. So if you look at his Silver Prism PSA 10, which is a commonly sold card, so it's a good indicator of his market, you can see it's down, right? It's down. It was up a lot as we got closer to last season, and then the Niners kind of underperformed. It went down, 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 and you could actually see in the past 30 days, it started to flatline. So a card like this, or Brock Purdy, I look at someone like him, and is he the greatest quarterback of all time? Probably not. But I look at his stuff, and I'm like, well, it's probably not going to go down, right? As we get closer to the season, it's only going to stay the same or go up. So I think buying cards of his with my extra spending money is a good idea, because it can make me 20, 30, 40% possibly. So I think Purdy's a good buy. I think Anthony Richardson, I know, bear with me. I think he stinks as a quarterback, but if you just look at his value, just from a value perspective, you can see what a Silver Prism PSA 10 was, right? Got a little more, went up a little bit as we got closer to the season last year. This card was like $500 right before the season last year. It even got sales of like $510, and then it went really high, like $540 right before the season. Then when he actually started playing, people realized, wait a second, this guy may not be the next Patrick Mahomes, and boom, it took a steep drop. And you can see in the past 30 days, it's flatlined. So Anthony Richardson, I don't think the Colts have another option but to start him. And just for the pure fact that he's going to be starting, should gain some hype, momentum. There's always people that think, you always have your collectors out there that think some player is going to be the next great one. Who knows? Maybe Anthony Richardson could turn things around. And I think buying his cards right now to get graded, or cards already graded, is a good idea, because once again, there's no financial guarantees, but they've floored out, right? We're probably at his floor. As you could clearly see here, it's flatlined in the past, month or two. It's probably not going to go down. Unless he gets injured, probably not going to go down. Only going to go up as hype increases. Maybe the Colts draft a receiver. Maybe word gets out in training camp that Anthony Richardson looks really good. You'd be surprised. Just the stupidest, simplest, smallest things, like reports out of training camp that Anthony Richardson, it looks excellent and is super accurate, will skyrocket his value like 30%. I swear, it happens all the time. I remember, what was it? Oh man, this was like 2 years ago. Ronnie Mauricio, who's a prospect for the Mets, I swear his value went up almost double, because he came in the training camp looking jacked and like super muscular, and it was like a big thing. He's a prospect for the New York Mets. But the littlest things pump up hype. So like those are some of the guys I'm looking to buy. And once again, like Anthony Richardson, Brock Purdy, CJ Stroud, Jordan Love, I think it's a good buy right now because his stuff is low. I'm not saying these guys are amazing quarterbacks, although I think Love and Stroud are really good quarterbacks. I'm just saying they're good buys right now because I think their values will pop up. But Nonetheless, let's look at some cards to buy. So what I'll do is I'll look at some cards to buy that are already graded. Usually I look at cards to get graded, but this is a nice site. I've been buying some cards from Only Alt. They auction a bunch of higher end cards. So this is for, like, once again, most people watching this, you should not be buying cards already graded. I'm just giving you a little bit of an insight as to what I do. So I'm looking to buy football right now, so you can filter. This is where a bunch of higher end cards are sold. And when it comes to football stuff, or when it comes to buying cards already graded, really, you should be buying cards. If you're buying cards already graded, you need to be buying higher end stuff, which is why the natural progression is buy cards to get graded. It's easier to make money that way. You can get that to $3, $4, $5, $6, $7,000 a month profit. And then what do you do with that extra money? Doing things like this and putting your extra money in bigger cards like this to make 20, 30%, hopefully in a few months, is the way to scale, because you could spend almost an unlimited amount of money on cards already graded because they're very expensive. There's your boy Joe Milton. So like this is actually a pretty solid card. I don't like it. I don't like buying cards this rare, numbered at 2. I like buying cards a little bit more common. When I'm buying cards already graded, I like to buy cards in like the $1,000 to $10,000 range. That card is probably in that range, but I don't like buying cards too rare because then people don't really know what they're worth and they're kind of harder to sell. Or maybe I just suck at selling cards. It could be that too. But like this is, so a gold hollow Anthony Richardson. That's a terrible autograph. God, did he even try? Let's see. So let's see if there's any sales of this card. So National Treasures Hollow Anthony Richardson. Let me just make sure you guys could hear. Okay, yeah. Check the chat real quick, just making sure you guys could hear. There's one sale for $4,000 in November. Not that helpful. $4,000 raw. Oh, that's raw. Okay. Then is this correct? Wait a second. What am I looking at here? Oh, this is a crossover. This is a different type of variation. So also this is okay. So this is, you have to be, this is why buying higher end cards gets tricky. So like, even though these cards, if you look here, they look the same, very similar. This is a crossover variation. It's worth like 10 to 20% of the actual true rookie patch auto. They look close, but I promise you they're worth way different. So this card sold for $4,000, a little bit more in November. So maybe what I'll do is find a value for it, because I am kind of interested in the card. What I'll do is I'll pull up that card and I'll pull up his Prism Silver PSA 10 to actually see how much or down his value has went since that sale. So we discovered that, right, you have this one sale right here of $4,250. This is November 1st. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look, okay, since November 1st, his Silver Prism PSA 10 was like selling for 128-ish in that range, right? Right. And then now to modern day, it's like the same price. So his value really hasn't changed since. And there's 8 days left in this auction. It's an interesting card. I wonder, just let me look at something else too, because this is sports cards at a high level right here. So Anthony Richardson, numbered to 99, Treasure. So these cards usually sell, I just know this from being in sports cards a long time. These cards usually sell for a little bit less than the gold numbered at 10. And you could see this card, since it's only one sale recently, of $1,100. Wow. Okay, so this is like all, honestly, I have no idea what this is worth. I have no idea. I'm just going to bid cheap. And then I'll be reminded of it. Like, I don't know. I'll just bid like a random number. $1,008. What? I was outbid? So obviously that was too cheap. One did 4,000. All right. I'll bid. The card's probably worth like, if I had to guess, like 2,500 to 3K. I'll bid cheap again, just to. There we go. Your max bid is, what's the card at now? So we're at 1,500. So I'd pay $2,000 for it. Like I'm just hoping like this card flies under the radar and I can get it for cheap. I want to be conservative. It's probably worth 3K to 3,500. I don't know if I want to pay that much, to be honest, but I'm just gonna be cheap with that card because it is just risky because it's a more rare card. See what else we got on Only All. This place usually has some solid cards, so I think this is interesting. Okay, I think Sam Darnold is a fascinating buy right now. All right. He's someone I have not talked about. All right. And I have not done that much research on him. But if you look at this is a hard year to grade. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of silver prism PSA 10s. Let me find another card that's like. So this is his raw. So this card before the season last year, like this card has raw got up to $200. You can see it's plummeted once he did not play that well. And his silver prism, just wow, this is all over the place. So this was like $250 in August. And then it got up to $500 when he was balling out. And then I don't know why it fell so much. Back to 200, but then he started balling out again. And then he didn't play well at the end of the season and it came down. So Sam Darnold, let me see. Oh, you know what's a probably better card to look at is Contenders, PSA 10. See if there's more sales of this. I'm just looking. Contenders, PSA 10. Doesn't he? He has a he has a regular PSA 10 Contenders, but there's not a lot of sales of it. Let's see. Yeah, so this card was like $600 into the season when he was playing really well, and it's come down to $150. And he is starting for the Seahawks, right? Like we look at this. Let me just make sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Sam Howell's the backup still. Yeah, so he is starting for the Seahawks, and I just think I don't know. He had such a good season last year, and it was just crumbled by like 2 games at the end when they went into Detroit, and then the playoff game that I bet a lot of money on. They got their ass whooped by the Rams, but I don't know. I like Sam Darnold as a buy right now. Like I like this stuff, and it's so cheap. It's so cheap. So I wonder if we see here. I'm gonna be aggressive with this stuff. I just think like I think I can go to the National Card Show and really bang out and make a lot of money. So his 9.5 National Treasures. One did 1,500, but so okay. So you have to be careful with these cards. So this patch right here. So if you look at this card, this is a 2-color patch. So for example, this is a decent patch, and let's say this card might sell for $500. I'm just pretending. But if this patch was really crappy and it was just all white, called a napkin patch, just where it's one color, it might only do $300. But if the patch is really good and has like part of the Jets logo in there, it might do $900. So you have to look at the patch of recent comps, or else you truly won't know what a card's value is worth. Like this is a little bit of a better patch because you could see kind of the letter of his the back of his jersey, probably what this is. So like this, even though they look similar, this patch is a little bit worse than this patch. But these cards are different. This one is numbered to 99, and this is considered a true rookie card, as opposed to this one. This is numbered to 25. These don't usually sell as well, and they're not nearly as liquid. So I would much rather prefer to bid on this card. I'm going to look at both anyways because I don't care. So let me see if we go to 130 point here. I want to see that sale that did $1,500. I want to see what that patch looked like. Treasures, auto, number 2, 99, 2018. So this is another site where you can look at comps. There's a few. Why is this? Oh, yeah. Why is this card so high? Is this because this guy's just starting this auction high? Oh, yeah, it's just a buy it now. Okay, that's not an auction. Okay, so this one that did 1,500, is that the same card? No, it's not. It's like a very similar patch, right? So I could say like this card, number to 99, is worth 1,500, right? This patch, very similar looking to this patch. They both have 2 colors. So honestly, people are probably gonna bid against me. I probably shouldn't be doing this live, but I'm gonna be aggressive. I think I love Sam Darnold. I'm gonna even bid over comps. So like this is a really good card, the number to 99. So because it's like his true rookie card and it's more liquid, I'm gonna be more aggressive than with something like this. I'm still gonna bid on this, but I'm not gonna be as aggressive most likely, depending on the price. But let's see if there's any sales. So number to 25. Let me look it up. Let me look it up on what the hell? Oh, that's weird. Sam Darnold Treasures, number to 25. Auto. Once again, most people watching this do not buy cards already graded. You probably shouldn't be doing that. But a PSA 10 at $12.50 in February. That was the best offer accepted. This was the same card. And I just know from experience that this card is usually worth a little bit less than the number to 99. However, this card's a PSA 10. So kind of the way I look at this, so like this card, just without not being graded, is worth a little bit less than this card. But because this is a PSA 10 and this is a 9.5, they're probably worth about the same, if I had to guess. But I do see a comp here of 1250, which I think is kind of cheap, honestly. So like I'll bid like 1301. Once again, I like this stuff. And once again, I'm paying more with buyer's premium because you have to pay an extra 20%. But I do a decent bunch of business with them. So I do get a little bit of a discount. So that'll be good. But yeah, I think Sam Darnold's a great buy. And honestly, before I start answering questions, are we getting callers in? Okay. I'm just curious. I want to see what auctions they're ending on eBay, Mr. Sam Darnold. Let's see something here. Let me see. Let me do. Yeah, no one's really auctioning his cards. Yeah, they're so cheap. Whoever auctions their cards are most likely going to lose money. But yeah, that is some of the stuff that I'm looking to buy when it comes to stuff already graded. All these guys that are really down a lot in value. I think like the reason, like basically how sports cards works is if you make a lot of money, you buy, like something is only an opportunity when no one else sees it as an opportunity. So if Sam Darnold starts playing well in Seahawks camp, and I think he could because I think he's going to play well in general, because I think the Seahawks have a pretty good roster, that hype will start. Caller, perfect timing. Let it rip. You got Eric here. You're live.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man? You hear me?
Hey, yeah, I can hear you.
What's up? What's your name?
Yeah, my name's Matt.
Matt, how may I help you?
Just wanted to ask some questions about I'm just doing the ML Eric's program here today. So I was just thinking about, what would be the best way to go about selling your vintage cards to all go to PSA? We're talking about like the football card, basketball card, baseball cards.
So wait, so are you inside the program or not yet?
Actually, I do my onboarding call today.
Oh, okay. So you joined. Well, congratulations on joining. And then number 2, so you have vintage cards. What years are they from?
We got the 60s and 70s, like some Lou Brock, some Johnny Unitas, Willie Mays. I have a whole bunch of old cards and, modern
Yeah.
and all that.
And then what's your budget for buying cards? Is it over a few grand or or more?
Yeah. Yeah. And these cards are all raw that I got to get graded.
Yeah. So actually so the simple answer is PSA, but if you're pressed for cash, like SGC with vintage does basically the same as PSA, surprisingly. So I would say PSA if you're not pressed for cash. That'd be the simple answer. But the thing is, whether you send it to SGC or PSA, you'll probably make around the same money. It's about what cards you're sending in. So what I would do is, so if I had a 1967 Johnny Unitas card, I'm just making something up, and I need to know that I'm going to at least double my money, right? So you probably seen me say this in the program if you started watching the videos.
Oh, yeah.
So with that card, it's going to cost you $25 to get it graded, right? And the cost to buy it is 0 since you already have it. So just make sure whatever, and you could ask Josh, who's the coach, or me, just ask me what you think.
Yeah.
Like
I think I've been dealing with Frank.
Frank. Oh yeah. Frankie's one of our like enrollment coaches. So, but you'll discover Josh is the one who runs the academy program. So
Okay.
You could send him pictures, but what you want to do, if I were you, so go through all the videos, right? It'll help you out a lot. But take the card and you want to try to estimate a grade for it and be conservative. So I would look at the card, then look at other examples of that card online. And let's say you think the card's going to grade a 4, PSA 4. Look at PSA 4s online, see if it looks similar to what you have, and then go a grade below. So if you think something's going to PSA 4 and you compare it to other cards on eBay and you would think, okay, I think this card is going to grade a 4, pretend it's going to grade a 3, then make sure you could at least double your money if it grades a 3. So in other words, make sure it sells for at least $50 graded a PSA 3. So does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yeah. So would you say go for the, depending on your budget, go for the SGC, but if you have budget, go to the PSA?
Yeah, PSA stuff will be a little more liquid and easier to sell, but it's going to take like 2 months to get back to you probably. As SGC will probably be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, way faster. So that's why I'm saying if you're pressed for cash, it makes sense to send to SGC because you'll get the money back a lot faster. Then you can start putting it into our system.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, because I just been, I got cards that I'm waiting to come back from PSA, and like they received them on January the 8th, and I still haven't back.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying if you,
it takes freaking forever.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying if you're pressed for cash, SGC is the route to go. But you said you're not pressed for cash, so I would go with PSA and just send the cards in, forget about them. Expect it to take 2 months, 3 months.
And on, like, say, selling the cards before the season starts, would it be good to start selling base cards right now, the prospects, or football?
These are cards you already have, or you're asking which cards?
Yes.
What are the best cards to be buying right now?
I just have quite a bit of cards I got to go through. Actually, just football. Like I hold a whole bunch of Richardson, Bryce Young's, McCarthy.
So that stuff. So you may once again the same thing I kind of just said. If you could at least double your money with a 10, send it in for grading. If you think if it's a good condition, follow the you're in the program, so follow the videos and all that stuff. But if you think you could at least double your money, so since you already have the cards, it's going to cost you $25 to get it graded. The cost to buy it is $0 because you have it already. So you probably got them from breaks or something. So just make sure a 10 is at least about $50, and then it's worth it to send in for grading as long as the condition's good.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. That's just pretty much. I just need to know. Start selling them before the preseason start on each sport.
Yep, makes total sense. Well, any other questions, man? Just hit me up. You have access to Josh and all the Facebook group and all the coaches and stuff. So you'll see it. It's all inside the videos.
All right, sounds good, man. I'm looking to join this and stuff with the business.
Awesome. Well, congrats on joining, and I'll see you in there.
All right, brother.
All right, bye. Archer, the cost to buy is $0. Since you already have it, yes, the cost to buy is $0. So if you have a card already and you're wondering whether you should send it in for grading or not, you don't have to buy it anymore. You have it already. So now it's just a question of, at least the rule I follow is I want to at least double my money. So even if I overpaid for the card on accident, let's say a card's only worth $100 and I paid $200, it doesn't matter at that point because you already have the card. It's just, okay, is it worth it to get graded? Can I at least double my money? So yeah, if you think it's, the cost to buy it is $0 because you already have it. That's how the math works out. Trust me, Archer. I've been doing this a long time. Someone else? Our favorite caller.
Hello.
Ron, what's up, man? You got Eric?
Hey, how are you? How you doing? I sure do.
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
How may I help you?
You asked to call in, so I'm calling in.
Oh, no questions. Well, for those of you guys listening, Ron is someone who we actually bought a bunch of cards from, and I'm going to give him a bunch of the profits from a lot that we bought from him. He lives close to me in Tampa, so Ron's a frequent caller. But do you have any questions, Ron, for me?
Well, one of my main questions, you saw the amount that I turned over.
Yep.
One of my main questions is, do you think that there will ever be consistency in the big groups that are working with these things? One of my main problems with the amount of cards that I had was the lack of consistency. Just by me purchasing them or by buying boxes and things like that, is I could buy a box for $100 walk away with really nothing because of one reason or another. They weren't centered. There was something wrong with them. Do you think there'll ever become some consistency in the grading process, where we're just a little guy like
Consistent.
me?
Yeah. Yeah, the grading process is for the most part. So if you lack consistency, this is no disrespect or not to, you know,
Yep.
frown upon anybody, but it's just because it's a lack of knowledge. Like it's like grading cards is an educational guess. Like sure, sometimes you'll think something's a 10, it gets a 9. Sometimes you think something's a 9, it'll get a 10. But for the most part, it is like 80% consistent on what gets a 10 and what gets a 9. And obviously you have your random variables. But
Mhm.
if you're just discovering like, oh, you send in these cards and a bunch of them get a 10, and then a bunch of them get an 8 the next time, it's just because you lack the knowledge in terms of what to look for, how to look at the corners, the edges, the centering, the surface, what to send in, what not
Yep.
to send in. So the grading part is for the most part consistent. It always has been. People complain that it's not, but it's usually just for a lack of knowledge and experience.
Um, for my experience was, I mean, I would even go down and bought microscopes to see if there was a little white along the corners, the edges, or things like that. I took it down to, because that's just my personality. I'm more attentive, and it seemed like, and maybe that'll change with the AI thing, and but there just seems to be a lack of consistency between the players on what's a 9 and what's a 10, and that was my experience. and
Yeah.
and also and also uh, everyone would send it to YouTube. We'll go to YouTube. The lack of customer service between some had fantastic. You couldn't get better customer service, and some just acted like it was a pain in the ass to have to deal with you. And I know this because I've heard it from other people. Well, it's just, uh, do you think that will improve as time goes along? And it really affects in the market, where people like me just don't want to be in the market because you just don't know what you're going to get, and you spent a lot of money uh, in the market, and you just don't see where it pencils out. And I'm sure there's things that I was wrong. I know there was things that I was doing wrong. I should have found you a lot
Yeah.
sooner.
Something I would say, just obviously we actually met in person. Like cards that are this is something I've just discovered. Cards that are older, usually
Yeah,
less consistent when it comes for
yeah,
grading, as opposed to newer cards, usually more consistent in my experience. And once again, 95% of the cards I've graded in my life have been newer, like the same year or year of.
yeah,
But because older cards, they're more resistant to giving them a 10 because they want to control the population, because they don't just want to
yeah,
10 a bunch of cards from like 1997 of Dirk Nowitzki or whatever, because it affects
yeah,
the value a lot when you put more
yeah.
PSA 10s to the world. But Ron, I do have to let you go because your connection or the sound that your phone is making is very is very brutal. But if you have any
I'm
questions, just
sorry.
put it in the chat.
I sure will.
All right, Ron.
All right, take care.
All right, Ron. Take care. Yeah, that audio was brutal. Archer says, "Trust me, I've been doing this a long time. Whatever, my man. Stop misinforming people. You're a fishy guy." Well, honestly, if you just don't agree with the things I'm saying, I probably just, if I was in your shoes, I'd probably just block me. Or you can call in. I'd love to have a conversation if you think what I'm saying is not correct information. I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've never had to get a job thanks to flipping sports cards. So that's that's all. That's all. What'd you say? I know. But yeah, but if you buy it, like Archer, once again to harp back on what you're saying, I know what you're saying. If you buy a card for $80, right, 3 years ago, and you have that card today, and it's already in your possession. It's already done with. You paid $80 for it. and let's say the card is worth $20 now. And you're just, once again, you still paid $80 for it. I understand. But now that goes out the window because if you're following what I do and what I say, and once again, you don't have to because it seems like you think I misinform people. So I probably would do the opposite of what I say. But something I say is you need to at least double your money when it comes to like grading cards, right? So if a card grades a 10, you want to at least double your money. So if you pay $50 for a card, you spend $20 to get it graded, you want to net at least $140 from that card. But going back to a card you bought 3 years ago, since you already have it, you don't need to buy it anymore. Since you don't need to buy it anymore, the question just becomes right now, like you have to ask yourself right now, can I double my money? And what you paid doesn't matter because you already paid it 3 years ago. It just matters today. Can I double my money if this grade's a 10? Because your total investment, what's coming out of your pocket right now, is just a grading fee. What came out of your pocket 3 years ago is irrelevant. Now, if you're just, and once again, this is something I bring up because people ask me all the time, what should I do with my cards? I already have all these old cards or new cards. I was breaking boxes and cases and blah, blah, blah. So if you're one of those guys that has a bunch of cards from years and years ago, whether you got them for free, whether you paid money for them, whether you opened up boxes and cases, just the thing that I've discovered that has helped people the most make the most amount of money is asking myself or asking yourself, can you 2x your money? So hopefully that math makes sense. Obviously, it matters what you paid. Like you don't want to overpay for things, and it doesn't matter what you paid. But as of right now, following like the rule that I've said for a long time, can I at least 2x my money? What you paid already is irrelevant. Let's see. We got some other questions in the chat. Once again, guys, feel free to call in. Nope, there we go. There's a caller. You got Eric. You're live.
Hey, Eric, what's up, man? It's Philip. How you doing?
What's up? Sorry, what's your name? One more time.
My name's Philip.
Philip. How may I help you, Philip?
No real help specifically. I'm more just was kind of wanting to pick your brain.
Yeah, go for it.
What are you doing with this last year of the prisms? You know, once they lose the license, I have a feeling that these items are going to be incredibly collectible. Just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that, man, and just say, hey, I really appreciate the content. I love listening.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So your base is this your way of like indirectly saying that you think, like for example, Bo Nix, since his rookie cards are in Prism, that it'll fall off once the license goes to Fanatics?
No, I think the opposite actually.
I
think the opposite. I think the cards are going to carry a huge premium as well as the the original, the 2012s.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you were moving on prisms right now.
So like, yeah, I'm buying. I have a bunch of in my front of my face right now that I need to send in for grading. But so I don't think it. Once again, this is just me guessing based on my experience.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna matter at all because, like, do you like, for example, LeBron James, his rookie card from 2003, his Topps Chrome rookie card. Does anyone look back at that and think like, oh my God, it was Topps Chrome. Topps doesn't have the license anymore, so that must mean it's more valuable. No, it's just really valuable because it's LeBron James. Like, if it was this sounds funny to say out loud, but if it was a 2003 Prism card of LeBron James, it would be worth the same, at least in my opinion. So I don't think it will matter at all. It's just, is the player going to play well? Okay, if he does, the rookie card's going to go up. If he doesn't play well, they're going to go down. That's just my opinion. You could be totally right, but like, I don't look at LeBron James and think that his cards are super valuable because they're Topps Chrome. I just think they're really valuable because he's the GOAT or one of the GOATs.
Right. I hear what you're saying. And I appreciate you answering that. I was just kind of curious as to what you thought the lay of the land was going to look like in the future. I still feel very confident though that the Prism probably is going to go up. You know, when you can't get them anymore, and we think about the nostalgic portion of the sports card. But that's just my opinion, though, and I just wanted to kind of hear what you thought about that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just strictly, is this player playing well? Okay, it'll go up. If not, it'll go down.
Right.
That's all I think. I don't think people just want the licensed stuff. So the lay of the land just once again, I don't know the future, but like Fanatics, I think they'll start producing Topps Chrome football when they get the license, and that will take over as like Prism. Like that will be like the best, most liquid card you could call it when they start making that. At least in my opinion, I don't know what they're gonna do, but that's the way I look at it. But I don't think people are gonna be thinking, "Oh wow, even though Bo Nix isn't a great player, you can't get Prism anymore, so I'm gonna pay a lot for his cards." I don't think people care.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I appreciate you, Eric.
Yeah, actually, one more good example. It's kind of like this. So, like 2014 or like 2015 Topps Chrome Jameis Winston cards. Do you see anybody overpaying for them because you can't get Topps Chrome anymore? No, right? It's just Jameis
No,
Winston's not really
of
that great of
course.
a player, and they don't sell for a lot of money because of it.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yep, I got you.
Any other questions or points or things I could help you with?
No, man. None at all. None at all. Like I said, just wanted to pick your brain and tell you I appreciate the content. Wanted to call in. I've never done it before, but I've been listening to you for a while, man. I appreciate you.
Awesome, Philip. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. Man, there's a lot of hate in these comments. You see this? You guys should call in. You guys make the best content. But why is there a specific age group gravitating? I don't really know what that means. Can you imagine? So, the Real Card Show, I see you're the one that commenting with the hate. If you think I'm wrong, dude, feel free to call in. Hey, I'd love to have a conversation. But I think maybe the Real Card Show, you missed what I was saying before. But when it comes to paying for a card, yes, it matters. But if you're asking me right, like if my goal is to 2x my money on a card, if it grades a 10, and the card already exists in your ecosystem, you just need to ask yourself, what's your total investment right now? So my total investment right now would just be the grading cost, since I already paid for a card 3 years ago. But once again, I mean, so just I guess don't listen to me. But once again, you should call in. I'd love to speak with you. But on a serious note, like I gotta ask why. So people that I know I get a bunch of hate, right? Of course, I mean anyone does online, especially specifically me, because people people are like very sensitive when it comes to sports cards. It's like their pastime. It's like a hobby, and I'm out here running around saying, "Hey, you can make money from sports cards." I'm kind of like stabbing at the hobby. That's the way people look at it. But something I just never understood, if you didn't like someone, and once again, this comes from someone that is not on social media. Like I don't have access, or I don't have my login to my Instagram or TikTok. I never go on it. But the only platform I listen to is YouTube. And the main guys I listen to on YouTube, the main two are Alex Hormozy and Colin Coward, sports analyst, and a little bit of Iman Gadzhi. He has like a business channel. He's probably someone you guys don't know of. But those are the main two, Hormozy and Colin Coward. And I would never, if I disagreed with someone, I would never follow him or listen to him. Like if someone bothered me, it would just never occur in my mind to even subscribe or click on his video. So I guess if you disagree with everything I say, why even follow me? Why not just block me? I don't understand. And, what I say is not for everybody. That's why there's opinions in this world, and the definition of an opinion is some people will agree, some people will disagree. So never fully understood that when I started to get more involved in social media, like the hate. Like I understand people just hate, people love drama, but why follow someone or why even look at someone's content if you just disagree with everything they say? I don't know. Maybe it's just a me thing. But once again, with that said, I'd love for you to call in and have a conversation. So the Real Card Show. So this is good stuff. This is like I've always wanted. So I know I get a lot of hate. I've always wanted someone to call in that doesn't answer. I was about to go do it. What you said. You got Eric. You're live.
Hey, what's happening, Eric?
What's up, man? What's your name?
Brian Williams.
Brian, how may I help you?
Yeah, hey, I was wondering I've been watching on YouTube a little bit. Me and my son have been We started our own little business doing cards on the
Nice.
side. My son does Pokemon and I do sports cards.
Mhm.
I've been doing sports cards for a long time,
Yep.
but not really selling a collector, you know?
Yep.
And I wanted to pick your brain on it because I really like your opinion on a lot of stuff. I've been listening about basically doing, the right timing to sell football or baseball or basketball or whatever.
Yep.
And it's been working out pretty good for me. And I landed, I don't like to open packs, kind of like what you say, but my son did a pack and I pulled a Daniels Kaboom,
Yep.
got it graded, got a 10 on it.
Nice.
And I'm stoked about it, but at the same time, what I wanted to ask you is, do you think it's a good time to sell it now, or do you think I should wait a little bit?
So you're specifically asking me, Jaden Daniels Kaboom, should you sell it right now, right?
Yeah, well, it's just, do you think, I guess, do you think it will go up anymore, or do you think it's kind of just stabilized?
Well, and is it the horizontal or vertical variation?
It's a horizontal one.
Oh wow, that's a good one.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I actually pulled it out of the Kaboom, like books. It's like a big old book kind of, and you get all these little packs inside of it. Your odds are like really low to pull a Kaboom out of it, but I pulled a Kaboom out of it. I bought the thing for like $60.
You know what they say? It's better to be lucky than
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Honestly, if it was me, I would sell it right away. From what I'm seeing, there's only 2 sales ever so far of the vertical,
Right.
and the more sales there are, it'll probably dwindle down. I see 2 sales of one did 12,700 in February, then another one March 29th did 11,300. So if I had to guess,
Right.
I would expect yours to do around $10,000. I'm just guessing. It could do more, it
Right.
could do less. I would definitely sell it right
Right.
away because the way sports cards kind of works is like the newest when there's not a lot of PSA 10s and they're
Right.
just kind of coming out, those
Right.
first few initial sales do very high. So I would expect that card to drop, stabilize, and then come up a little bit as we got closer to the season. But I would definitely sell that
Right.
card right away if it was my wallet and it was me.
Okay. I have a pretty big show this weekend in Sacramento, and because I'm from California, and there's gonna be a lot of vendors there, and I think I was gonna try to move it, but at the same time, I was like, do I hold it and maybe wait? Because I've always heard you say about, at the right time, and then basically, I know the team's pretty loaded, but they got Debo. If they get any more weapons,
Yeah,
will it
I
go
would.
up more?
Based on my experience, if it was me, once again, I don't want to give you I don't want to say anything's a financial guarantee here, but if it was me,
No.
just
Yeah.
just know that I would definitely if it was me, I would definitely not hold it into the season, 100%. Just to give you an example, last year CJ Stroud was like this year's Jaden Daniels. Everyone thought there's no way he fails. He has Stephon Diggs.
Right.
He has all these weapons. They're gonna win the division, and his cards are worth half of what they were before the season last year. So just know that for Jaden Daniels to maintain that hype that he has, he's gonna have to play really, 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 really good, really good. So, but if it was me, I'd probably auction it. I'd send it to a higher end auction house like Golden Auctions or
Right.
Fanatics does auctions, or we could send it to Only Alt. These are some higher end auction houses, and
Right.
just let it rip. I think it'll do very well because people get excited for the first few PSA 10s. So
Right.
that's what I would do personally because you want to gain as much hype with the card as possible and want as many eyeballs on it as possible, and just a random card show in Sacramento. I don't think you'll get that. I don't think you'll have someone that comes to you and offers you $10,000 cash. And I think I think that card could do 11K, 10.5, 11K via an auction house.
Right. Okay, I got one more question for you.
Yep.
What do you think about Brock Purdy? Do you think if he gets a new contract, do you think his cards will go up? Because I have a lot of Brock Purdy 10s, and I'm trying to wait the right time to move those. I think that it may go up a little bit more if he gets the contract. What's your opinion on that?
My opinion is him getting the contract. I don't think it'll go up because everyone's expecting him to get a contract. It's kind of like when Ohtani won MVP. His value didn't really go up because everyone expects it. It's everyone knows that's happening. It's kind of like when people buy a bunch of cards of a future Hall of Famer of Tom Brady, then it gets announced into the Hall of Fame. It doesn't really go up. Everyone knows he's going to go into the Hall of Fame. So I don't think his contract will make his card value go up. I think what'll make his card value go up is just getting closer to the season, people getting excited, maybe the Niners picking up another weapon or two. I think that's what'll cause it to go up. I don't think the contract will, but you never know. But that's just my opinion.
From your experience, does the draft help? Like if the team drafts good, I guess, you know, during the draft.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Because just an example of that is, well, what'll help his value is if the Niners draft the receiver or maybe a running back or something. That's what would help Purdy's value. If they have a good draft and they draft defense, no one gives a shit. So yeah, like last year when the Cardinals drafted Marvin Harrison, because of that, Kyler Murray's value went up like 40, 50% right away and continued to go up as it got closer to the season. I don't think the Niners are going to draft a weapon. I don't think so, but you never know.
Yeah. No, really, thank you. And I love your content. It's helped me out a lot. It's helped my son out too. So I appreciate you, man. Thanks for all your hard work.
Yeah, Philip, no problem, man. I appreciate you calling in.
Thank you, man. Have a good day, brother.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Someone actually said that my content helps them. I'm beside myself right now. Someone else?
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man? You got Eric?
Hey, Eric. How's it going?
What's up, man? What's your name?
This is Mike.
Mike, how may I help you, Mike?
So I got some a couple things I wanted to run by you.
Yeah,
I'm 50-year-old. I've been collecting cards and into it since I was, in school. Like high school area, whatever. But so I got a bunch of that junk 90s stuff, but it's literally been in boxes for however many years it's been there. So a lot of it's still really nice. But anyway, moving on to that, I got kind of back into it in 2004 and 5, which were the good years of the quarterbacks, Ben Roethlisberger, Rodgers, Phillips Rivers, and all them. But so, I got this stuff back out after 20 years. I got had this Aaron Rodgers 2005 Topps Chrome, the gold X-Fractor auto that they sent out. I actually opened it out of a box back then that they were in the hard cases that you could pull.
Okay.
So I was pretty confident. I thought it could get a 9. I sent it in the PSA. Got it back. They graded it as an 8.
Yeah,
so,
they're hard with that stuff. You said it's a Topps Chrome Gold X-Fractor, Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. And a lot of those are centerings as like off on those on the front. So I knew it wasn't going to.
Yeah, those are insanely hard to get graded. It's the one number to 399, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I, get an 8 from PSA. It's probably still, $2,000 card probably. Do you think it grades any better at BGS or any of that? Or just.
Do you have a picture of the card?
I do.
Can you send it to this phone right now?
Let me see. Yeah.
Then I'll be able to tell you. Probably the answer is probably not, but it's worth a picture. You might as well send it to me so I can try to help you.
Yeah. Let me see if I can. It's already been graded for PSA.
It's okay. I just want to see what the card looks like. Because if it got, I'm assuming the centering is probably off on it. And for you guys watching this live right now, the card he's talking about would be this one. This 2005 Topps Chrome Gold X-Fractor. I'm looking at a PSA 8.5, just a 2K. Yours is probably like 1,700, 1,800. But a Beckett 9, there's no recent sales, but if I had to guess, a Beckett 9 would be like 2K, maybe a little bit more. So it's really only worth it if you think the card could get a Beckett 9.5, which would probably bump it up to like 3,500-ish. But going from a PSA 8 to a Beckett 9.5, good luck. It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. Let's see this one. Okay.
Yeah, send it to this phone and I will email it to myself and show everybody, and I'll try to do my best and help you out.
The ones I'm sending you are the ones like in the case that I sent it the PSA in that case. So
Okay.
it's in the PSA case now. But this is the card in the original case that it came in.
Okay. Sounds good. Oh, did he end the call in accident? Well, we'll wait for him to call back. But the answer to his question is probably not worth sending out. But you know what's interesting? So, right, I'll pull this up on the screen. So you have this guy saying you could listen to what this guy says and buy into whatever nonsense he is trying to sell you, but you're literally throwing your money away. So yes, I make this content to push people into sports cards so people hopefully buy my program. But what's interesting about this comment is, so I'll tell you guys a quick little story before I go here. I have to go soon because my wisdom tooth is killing me. I just still need to get it taken out. But here's an interesting story about this. So you guys watching this, sports cards, a lot of people in sports cards break, right? They break open boxes and cases and all the stuff like that. And there's a lot of commercials and ads, there's whatnot, and you can really get into box breaks. Now, I had a friend. I'm not going to say any names, not that you guys would know who he is. So I had a friend, his sister. His sister was married to a guy. They saved up a bunch of money, probably a lot of money, few $100,000, if not more. And then it came, and my friend's sister was married to this guy for, I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 years. And it was time for them to buy a house. And the guy, the husband, had some sort of corporate job in finance. And he was the one who managed the money. So the wife never really looked at the money much. And when it came time to buy a house, they had no money. There was supposed to be probably, I don't know, $500,000 in the savings account. There was nothing. There was no money in the savings account. And then he basically confessed to have a gambling addiction. And they got divorced literally the next day, I think. And I feel so bad for my friend's sister because now she's living with her grandparents, has 2 kids, terrible situation. And she's now suing DraftKings because DraftKings, what they do, I don't know if you guys know this, but when DraftKings sees you as someone who's a frequent gambler, they make you a VIP member. When you're a VIP member, they send you things, they buy you tickets to suites, they send you concert tickets, they send you trophies, etc. Now, they're doing this so you gamble more because statistically speaking, you will never win from gambling. Ever. It's impossible. Unless you're the luckiest son of a gun ever. And she's suing DraftKings because they were basically incentivizing her husband. Now, it's still the husband's fault. He should not be doing that. But it doesn't make it any easier when DraftKings is pushing you and giving you more reason to lose money. And I would love to own a casino one day, but I wouldn't be able to ethically do it because you're literally making money off of people that are losing their money. What I do today is people pay me money, but I'm helping them make money. And it's this whole lawsuit. And what's interesting, how that relates to sports cards is about what this guy, the Real Card Show, is saying. So people will say that, someone like myself, right? I sell nonsense. I'm a scam. I don't know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. But the same person who says that buys into box breaks and cases, which is the worst form of gambling. You cannot win. And these companies that run these advertisements to break open boxes and cases, they're literally advertising, hey, buy into this. I guarantee you're going to lose money. Right? The definition of a scam, at least in my opinion, why people call me a scam or people say anything's a scam is because, Bernie Madoff was a scam. You paid him money, you lost money. If you're paying someone money and they tell you that you're going to make money, but you lose money, that to me is a scam. Now, are there people that have paid me money and haven't made anything? Of course. Right? There's people that buy my program and don't do anything, maybe don't follow directions, maybe got unlucky, they don't make any money. Happens all the time. But more times than not, people follow what we say because they pay money and they follow directions and they do pretty well. But a box breaker, a case, is advertising the idea that, hey, you can pull this card of Victor Wembanyama for $1 million. It'll sell for over $1 million, which is probably true. But what they don't tell you is the odds of you getting that are so small and it gets you hooked and addicted into gambling. And then you end up losing a lot of money. So I find it ironic that the same people that buy into box breaks and cases or maybe run ads for that stuff, say that what I do is wrong, but advertising a box break, and don't get me wrong, it's what drives the hobby. It's fun doing it a little bit, for entertainment purposes, do it. But that to me is basically someone advertising, hey, go buy this box break, come get addicted to us because, it's fun, but you're guaranteed to lose money. Like you're guaranteed, maybe like 1 out of every 500 people make money because you have to get really lucky and pull a huge, huge card. But that to me is a scam. Like FanDuel, DraftKings, even though this comes from someone that likes to sports gamble here and there, that's a scam because they're saying, oh, you can make so much money off this parlay, these odds, that odds, but you're going to lose money, right? There's a reason casinos make a lot of money. Same thing, there's a reason box breakers and companies like Panini and Topps make a lot of money. It's at the expense of people getting addicted to gambling and losing a lot of money through box breaks. I'll always find that interesting. That people, oh boy. So oh boy. So the idea is that you buy into a box break. Oh, okay. This is with all due respect, the Real Card Show. The fact that you're saying this is how I know that maybe your math skills aren't exactly up to par. So let me break something down to you, the Real Card Show. This may make sense to you. This may not. Okay. Let me break this down. All right. You have a case of, okay. So, but behind me, there's a case of 2022 National Treasures, right? This case is about $4,000. That's how much you could buy this case on eBay. However, if you buy a box break, right? A box break, how does a box break work? Well, they say, okay, don't pay $4,000. We're going to divvy this break up at 10 spots at $500 per spot. And each spot maybe gets 2 random teams or 3 random teams, whatever, how it works. So this equals $5,000. Now, you don't see that you're paying $5,000 for this because you're only paying $500. But in the long, you are paying $5,000 for this case of 2022 National Treasures. This is how box breaks work. They pay X amount of money for a case, and they upcharge people by 20, 30% through the form of divvying it up through 10 to 15 to 20 spots, right? So in the long run, right, if you get into 10 box breaks of this exact case of 2022 National Treasures, you are paying $5,000. It just doesn't seem as bad at first because you're just paying less absolute money. But over the long run, you are overpaying by 20% or however this math comes, 25%, however this math comes out to be. But yeah, so box breaking is even, like, this is bad. You're going to lose money just buying a case of this and opening it up on eBay. But doing it through the form of box breaks, you're overpaying by 20%. You're just doing it in a smaller format. But over the long run, you will lose a lot of money. So, yeah. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So let's see here. Brother, I'm saying what you do is wrong. I don't buy into breaks. I buy singles and rip every once in a while. What are you even going on about? I don't know what that actually relates to. Man, this is a feisty. Maybe we shouldn't do these on Wednesdays. Not going against the fact the Real Card Show is right. Oh boy. Okay. So this is a good, valid question. You do understand buying raw cards is a gamble, right? Okay. So let me break down this again. So yes, this up here is gambling. This though is bad gambling, right? This is gambling where over the long run, you are guaranteed to lose a lot of money. But simply put, grading cards, right? Grading equals good gambling. Yes, you are gambling. You're 100% right. But you're gambling with the odds in your favor. When you go to a casino and you play roulette, you're gambling. And the casino's gambling too. But the casino knows they have a 54% chance of winning and you only have a 46% chance. So can you walk out of there and get lucky once in a while? Of course. But you're gambling with the odds in your favor if you know what you're doing through grading. Because I could speak from experience. Let's say you buy a card for $100, right? Let me make this font a little big, just a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. Okay, let's say you buy a card for $100 and the grading cost is $25, right? So your total cost for the card you just bought is, what is it? Oh yeah, brain fart. 125, right? And let's say a PSA 10 of this card is 300, and a PSA 9 of this card is, call it 100, right? So if you know what you're doing, you could get 10s about 60 to 70% of the time. So let's say 60% of the time you get a 10, 40% of the time you get a 9, right? So in other words, what that means is 60% of the time what you're doing is you're making about a $175 profit, and 40% of the time you're going to lose, right? You're going to lose the grading cost in this example. So you're going to lose about $25. This right here, obviously I'm making it as simple as possible, but this is called good gambling. This is how casinos gamble. They gamble, but with the odds in their favor. This is bad gambling because the odds are stacked against you. So yes, you're gambling, but it's an educated gamble. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, you're just buying random cards, these percentages won't work out this way, of course. But yes, grading cards is gambling, and everything in life's a gamble. Starting a business is a gamble. Getting, a job is a gamble, right? Because you can get fired. Everything's a gamble. But you're gambling with the odds in your favor. So hopefully that makes sense. And I'm getting those statistics from buying and grading cards for the past 10 years. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. But any other questions? Hopefully you guys that are going... Oh, yep, good point. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. So hopefully that you guys who don't agree with what I'd say, I'd love to talk on the phone and speak about it, and maybe you could prove me wrong. Maybe I'll end up agreeing with you. Maybe this whole entire thing is just a total scam and I don't know what I'm saying. So yeah, we do go live Monday, Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern. So if you guys would like to call in, feel free. I'd love to speak with you guys who disagree with me. That makes for better content. So hey, I love it. But if you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you everybody for watching. I do appreciate it, and see you guys in the next one.